Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Chatty Curator channel. Get chatty about your local businesses. Today, I have my friend Monica with me. And hi, Monica, how are you?
I'm good, Arthur. How are you?
Very good, very good. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Monica Juren. I'm an associate professor at the Melbourne Institute of Technology.
Like 2020 have been quite a year. Let's not.
Let's not downplay
Yeah,
it.
it's impossible to downplay. I think 2020 had been quite a year. And how did everything that happened affected your line of work or your students, particularly the ones about to graduate?
Yeah, it is tough because we have to move everything online. So in a very short time, we have to reorganize ourselves. But the students, they have a very good understanding of the situation that we are in, and all the staff jump on board. And there are things that you can't. And this is a myth that people always think, oh, it's quite easy and simple to transfer face-to-face class, suddenly go online the next day. It's not. You have to pick up new tools, online collaboration is a little bit different. How you are going to demonstrate things and schedule, you know, conference and things like that, everything online. But I think we have done really well. And some students tell us that they actually like this because it's so convenient.
Yeah.
It saves them time. They don't have to travel around. They don't have to, go like spend 1 hour to go to another location to meet with the client, come back to the campus and that sort of things. Logistically, it's much more better. And we have picked up a lot of tools, and even with the clients, we share knowledge. Like one day I was having the meeting with the client and the students, and I said, oh, I think our discussion is not going anywhere. Why don't we jump on the Miro board, right? Let's do a brainstorming exercise because everyone has so many ideas. We have to put it down in front of us. Sometimes you just have to visualize it. And then the client was like, oh, what software is this? This is interesting. I would maybe explore it a little bit more. So I think it is challenging, but it just makes us much more innovative,
It is.
much more creative, and we get things done.
That's amazing. I think this is a really fantastic attitude because it is about, well, look, I mean, this is what we got. This is what it is. So we just need to find a way to make the most out of it. And to me, that any of the client or people that I work with, that's just kind of like, well, it is what it is. So let's find a way to deal with it. It's not the best case scenario, but it can be worse. We can be in a different continent. At least we're in Australia. Like,
That's right.
it can be worse. But anyway, let's
Yeah,
not go
but
into.
and also the students told us that now they are so much more confident in the
Yeah,
future. Should they be asked to, organize an online meeting or use all these different technology like Zoom, and things like that? They say, well, we have used it and we can do
exactly.
it.
Speaking of the students that you mentioned about, there's a project called BITE, BITE. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
That is actually my project. I am setting up a business incubator at MIT. So BITE stands for Business Innovation Technology Entrepreneurship. We want to combine or create a space, actually, create a space for business, IT, and engineering students to work together. Because, if you look at our organizations and businesses around us, we have to work together. That is the
Absolutely.
core functions of a business these days. So I want students to think about not just going out there to find a job, but they can create opportunities for themselves, especially for the younger generation. you have to create opportunities for yourself. That is why we have Bytes, and we have currently the first project going on in that space, which is a business student who come up with a concept, now working with an IT team who will create and develop that platform to showcase and demonstrate that concept.
Do let me know how you go a little bit later on. Would love to get to know that, and even if the audience want to know that, that would be fantastic. And I think it is a really good thing, because sometimes that even if you're working in say a larger corporation or organization, there will be different teams in areas, and yes, people from different discipline training, they will come together, and if everyone working within their own silo, that they would turn into this little bit of tunnel vision situation that unfortunately would actually it might limit your success. So cross-disciplinary and just that communication, I mean, it's actually kind of how we met. I mean, we have completely different areas of interest, but then because we started conversation together, and that's how we work together well, and then we become friends after. So I was like, that's say hello, just that's what it is, that's how it started. And
then
that
we
actually,
teach each other things. Remember, we have to
absolutely.
develop a website together.
Oh my
and we
gosh,
are not
yeah.
IT
Oh gosh,
professionals.
no. Yeah, exactly. If someone ask me to do coding, I'll just kind of like that person, like don't look at me, like it's no, seriously. We are in the generation of digital transformation. How do you think these cross-disciplinary synergy, if you may, to help the business environment moving forward? So we are moving from the student environment to a point of view like the smaller operator, like other people that I interviewed, or the economy in general. How do you feel that these cross synergy would work?
I think it is important that we are thinking of synergies, but I'm thinking of transformation. We have to really set our mind to be open, because I know that organizations are now still for many, many years organized into specific departments or functions, right?
Yep.
But if we want to be able to communicate like how we have worked together,
Yep.
we need to have a bit of understanding about each other's area and fields, because we have to build that bridge. So between IT technical knowledge and business people, let's just take these two, they have to build a bridge. The IT technical people must understand a bit of business, and the business people must understand a bit of IT technical knowledge. But in between, that bridge is built on digital literacy before we even talk about skills, right?
Yep.
It is our understanding of how digital stuff work. If we do not understand that, that bridge is always uneven, or it's not even crossover. So digital literacy, I know that in primary schools and high school, they do a lot about this. But I think in the business world, we also need to improve our digital literacy before we push our staff and everyone else to just go, develop your digital skill, Arthur, you have to upgrade, you have to upgrade. But if without the understanding of the digital world and how to be creative and innovative with the skills that we're going to develop, it will never make the synergy work. We will always still talk inside our little box.
It's actually a really good point, because what happened is some of the things that, because I also work with like contractee or freelance clients, there are a lot of very interesting ways that, if you may, that if they feel naturally that they want to learn something, if they build rapport, for example, like using what you were saying in example, if there is a positive rapport between the IT person and the business person, then they would be more willing and open to learn about each other. If it is someone of, say, someone of a managing director say to someone that you got to learn this, then they would think that it's a chore, and then it
Yeah.
would just feel like they are a task. And then, unfortunately, it probably won't really translate into the result of the work. That
Yeah.
so that's why I think it was actually very interesting. One of my contractees that I can't give too much details, but they want to organize an event, and they kind of like want to just give it 2 weeks notice. They feel that that's enough time. But the way that because I already have an existing rapport with them. I kind of like I know what explains better with them. So I basically explain it this way. It's like, okay, well, like if you invite your best friend over for dinner, of course, 2 weeks is okay. But if you are organizing a housewarming, including people that you know a little bit, but not too much, maybe a month to 6 weeks. And then if you're organizing something big, like a wedding, you need 2 years or a year or something like that. So that was actually really useful because that actually they decided to push the event to like 6 months, giving that 6 month gap. And then but because I had a conversation with these people beforehand, we had a certain level of friendship or rapport being built. And that's how the message come across. If I just go in and say, you need to do it in 6 months or something like that, they will be like, nah, 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 nah. And I was like, even though it's good for them, but then that's the thing about like being book smart or street smart. That,
Yeah, and that's what I meant by transformation, right?
yes.
Transformation include a very important skill, and thank you for bringing it up in the first workshop with our students. It is about client management, communication, building rapport.
Yeah.
Without that, you can't help transform something that is being done or transform someone's mind about how to do certain things, and also translation skill, Arthur. Translation skill, a lot of people will think, well, why are you talking to me about translation? I'm not an English major student or whatever. But it's the translation from seeing a problem, translate it to someone who is not familiar, but using their language to inform them and convince them, right?
It's actually good. Sorry, we're completely out of topic. But then, what I think translation is important is, for example, in English there will be different words that we stress, and then just changing the tone and the meaning of the entire statement. And I would imagine that would happen in most, if not every, languages. And the translation is that ability to not only making sure the words are interpreted, but also the meaning are being interpreted. So that's why, like you said, that it is a skill to be learned, but it is something that do need to someone need to invest a little bit of time to really get to know it. Thank you so much, Monica, for taking part in this, and how people can find you and how businesses can get involved to for example, help the students.
At Melbourne Institute of Technology, that's where I work, mit.edu.au. And I also have my personal website that I'm trying to develop these days and trying to do a bit more translation work, I guess. Yeah, so my personal website is mjurin.space.
Thank you so much for your time. And I wish you and your student the best of luck. And of course, let's keep in touch, and please let me know if there's something that the Chatty Curator can help as well.
Sure. Thank you for inviting me, Arthur. It's a great chat. I totally enjoy it.